The blackout of Broadway theaters prompted by the COVID-19 pandemic has been extended. This is the longest scheduled extension to date as theaters went dark on March 12th. The Broadway League announced on Tuesday that the 41 top-tier New York theaters will remain closed at least through September 6th. While all Broadway shows would love to resume performances as soon as possible, we need to ensure the health and well-being of everyone who comes to the theater, said Broadway League President Charlotte St. Martin in a statement on Tuesday. Throughout this challenging time, we have been in close communication with Governor Cuomo's office and are grateful for his support and leadership as we work together to bring back this vital part of New York's economy and spirit. To get more insider information on what's happening behind the curtains now, I spoke to 24-year-old Gabby Stewart, a management assistant for Dear Evan Hansen, the Broadway Tour, and 101 Productions.
Working for Dear Evan Hansen's my full-time job, but I have a part-time job on the weekends where I work at the Red Steps in Times Square. So I am constantly surrounded by Times Square. So not being able to be in Times Square, it's a nice break to to say the least, but also like I still miss that energy a lot. My full-time job, it's a lot of Zoom calls, and like my office is still trying to navigate how to communicate remotely from everywhere. It's added a new obstacle because we have to communicate with each other remotely before we talk to the other companies remotely.
Stewart points out that this has never happened before in Broadway history.
The longest time that Broadway has been closed was 2 weeks for like a union strike. A lot of the conversations right now are about the future, so like contracts and payroll and budgets.
It comes to no surprise that Broadway's shutdown has become extremely stressful.
Not gonna lie, there are times where I'll just like get off a Zoom call and be so stressed that I just like have to take a moment and step away from my computer because I'm just like I can't look at this anymore. Or everyone is uncertain about what's gonna happen, so if there's uncertainty and like even like our managers don't know what's going to happen, it sort of makes us feel lost a lot of the time.
When asked if Broadway could have been better prepared in handling the coronavirus, Stewart notes the importance of caution.
There are a lot of people who come through New York, and most of those people are tourists from around the world. We don't know what they have or where they came from, and I think that type of caution would have been nice to have, but I can guarantee right now those are definitely topics of discussion to work on when we get back.
Additionally, Stewart addresses Cuomo's proposed idea to have every audience member sit a seat apart.
We won't be able to run a show if people only sat like every other seat and at a half capacity of a show of a theater. Like we would not be able to survive.
However, many do not realize the issues that people on stage will have to deal with.
Like the actors who work together, like Dear Evan Hansen, there's a full-on makeout session in the middle of the show. So like, like I don't know how that's gonna go on. Like, are we not gonna allow that type of stuff? One question we started asking each other was, so Dear Evan Hansen has something called a blue room, which is like the green room or backstage area. How do people let in their guests? Are people allowed to have guests backstage? Are they like, do they have to be with them at all times? Like, those are the types of questions. And one of our producers, she was saying, she's like, I don't even know if we're going to even allowed to have people backstage at all. So, like, we have no idea what the future is going to look like. But I have a feeling that there's going to be more precaution.
2 Broadway shows that had begun previews when the lights went out, Hangman and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, have already announced that they will not reopen after the suspension ends.
I think that's going to happen to a lot of shows, unfortunately. Winter happens to be the least popular time for people to go to the theater. People usually go during the holidays, so like Christmas is a great time, Thanksgiving's a great time, but like everyone goes back home after that. So January through March, there aren't a lot of sales across all the shows. So a lot of shows weren't getting sales before the shutdown happened. So it's everyone's kind of like scrambling to figure out how we can stay on.
Also going through similar financial difficulties are the theater groups on campus such as E52 and HTAC. Chloe Griffiths, a board member of HTAC, says that they weren't able to make a huge profit this semester due to their shows being canceled. Students also complain that taking theater labs online just aren't the same as taking them in person. A big question for UD theater people is, will they be able to continue their passion next semester on campus or even in the future after graduation?
If for whatever reason Broadway does not last, where can I go next? Because unfortunately, like, there's so many people who work for the show or work for theater in general, and everyone's trying to figure out what do we do if that doesn't happen anymore.